بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Okay. Welcome back to another lesson in the دروس اللغة العربية. Just to confirm, can you still see my screen, inshallah, before we continue? Just had an update on Zoom and alhamdulillah, okay, it's fine. Okay. Now we've moved on to الدرس الثامن, lesson 8. Now this lesson, okay, is about the demonstrative pronoun هذا or ذلك, whichever one we use. If after the demonstrative pronoun اسم الإشارة the word has al at the beginning, that will join with the اسم الإشارة, i.e. هذا or ذلك, and will form part of a sentence, not a complete sentence. So I'm just going to put an example here, inshallah, which will become a bit more clear. So let's take, for instance, we have, let's just choose another color. Okay. هذا رجل. Okay. So we've got this sentence. هذا رجل. Now, what does هذا رجل mean? هذا رجل. This. هذا رجل. This is a man. This is a man. Okay. So, هذا رجل. This is a man. Okay. Now, what does this mean? Are you seeing double of the sentences or one? Because on my screen I can see when I'm annotating there's a duplicate of the sentence. Can you see a duplicate or is it just one you can see? One. Okay, that's fine. On my screen, it's probably a bit of a glitch. It's an update. That's what happens. Okay, so we got next one we got is هذا الرجل. How are you going to translate this? هذا الرجل. هذا الرجل. Let's just put the dhamma on there as well. Okay. هذا الرجل. How are we going to translate that? هذا الرجل. What's the translation of هذا الرجل? هذا الرجل will mean this is a man. What does هذا الرجل mean? Anybody? Okay. Any idea what is هذا الرجل? Okay. هذا الرجل means this man. هذا الرجل means this man. Okay. Now, what's the difference between the two? Okay, so let's just bring this one a bit down. What's the difference between the two? هذا رجل and هذا الرجل. Any idea? G. First one is مبتدا خبر جملة مفيدة. Very good. So the first one, let's get the tarkib down for the first one. I'll just do that in green, inshallah. هذا رجل is a complete sentence. So in terms of tarkib, we're going to say هذا equals مبتدأ and رجل equals خبر. Okay, هذا is مبتدأ, رجل equals خبر. And then from there we can make it into a, and both of it together equals جملة اسمية. Okay, جملة اسمية. How about the next sentence? هذا second is منعوت النعت, and the sentence is not complete. Close, it's not a منعوت نعت sentence. Okay, because nat is generally an adjective, something that describes. So, for example, رجل عالم, عالم means learned. Okay, so it's like a quality that refers to the man'ud. If you look at a rajul is a common noun. It's not an adjective. It don't fit the role of being an adjective. You're not saying learned or, you know, great, short, big, small, kind. So a rajul does not fit to be na'at. Okay. However, I will break the tarkib down of this. هذا will be مبدل من. Okay, let me just get these words down. مب, the harakats, because people say mubaddal, which is wrong. It's مبدل من. Okay, I'll explain that to you inshallah. And الرجل is the badal. Okay, and together they equal murakkabun ishariyun. So we have here هذا الرجل means this man. It's not a complete sentence because the word after the ismul ishara has al, and we've just mentioned that if he has al, it's an incomplete sentence. It will mean this and whatever word we say. What does mubdalun mean, and what does badal mean? Badal and mubdal mean are where two entities refer to the same thing. Okay, so when we say hada, this man, if we were to remove the word ar-rajul, the reference of hada is still to that man because you're pointing at him. And if we were to remove the word hada and say ar-rajulu, the man, you're still referring to the same entity. That's what badal and mubdalun min is. A simple example, it would be, okay, would be that someone says, Ja'a akhuka Zaydun. Your brother Zayd came. Your brother Zayd came. Now, your brother and Zayd is referring to the same entity, which is Zayd. So the first word in this instance would be akhuka, will be mubdalun min, and the second word, which comes as the same reference as the first, will be the badal. And they will experience the same i'rab. Okay? So if you look at the example, Ja'a akhuka Zaydun, your brother Zayd came. Ja'a would be fail, akhu would be mudaf, ka would be mudaf ilay, and those words that are from Asma'ul Khamsah, Al-Asma'ul Khamsah, 5 words, provided they are mudaf towards anything besides Ya al-Mutakallim. In the state of Raf, they express with a waw. So akhuka. So that's in the state of Raf, we can see because of the waw. And Zaydun is in the state of Raf because of the dhamma. So Ja'a akhuka Zaydun. Okay, so that would be Mubdal min and Badal. Okay. So mubdal min and badal is where you have two entities and they refer to the same individual or thing. That is known as badal and mubdal min. Okay. Now the difference between nat and man'ut nat and mubdal min and badal is in man'ut nat the second word is more like a describing word. Okay. So when you say ja'a akhuka Zaydun, your brother Zayd came, Zayd is not a describing word. But if I say ja'a akhuka, let's say for example, al-alimu, your brother, the learned one, came. Al-alim is not because it's a describing word. Okay, is that clear in terms of the difference between هذا رجل and هذا الرجل? Translation difference is هذا رجل means this is a man, and هذا الرجل will mean this man. And in terms of tarkib wise, هذا رجل, because there's no al after the word هذا will itself take the role of مبتدأ, and رجل will become the khabar. Whereas in هذا الرجل, هذا will not take the place of مبتدأ. It will actually pair with the badal, which is الرجل, and the mubdal min, which is هذا, and the badal together will now become مبتدأ. Okay, I'm just going to put two more examples to open up how the Ismul Ishara can extend from one word. What's the difference between doing tarkib and i'rab of a sentence? Tarkib is the construction of the sentence. So for instance, we're looking at هذا رجل. So we're just labeling هذا as مبتدأ, and رجل is the what? Khabar. And then a mubtada khabar will become jumla ismiya khabriya. That's tarkib. I'rab will be when you're going into the Arabic diacritics. That's when you see, okay, that's when you look at the word and its diacritical markings at the end. So i'rab would be, if you were to do i'rab, okay, so let me just, the tarkib is there. So you understand what tarkib is because we're doing the tarkib there. You're labeling the words according to its grammatical definition, and then you're grouping and you're forming the whole sentence. So let's just take, for instance, هذا. Okay, so let's just put it below there. In terms of i'rab, هذا we would just say, okay, اسم الإشارة مبني على السكون. Okay, هذا is اسم الإشارة مبني على السكون في محل رفع مبتدأ. I know it seems a bit long. مبتدأ مبتدأ في, okay, and that will leave us with the word رجل. Let me just type it down first. Is خبر مرفوع بالضمة. Okay, so okay, there. So let's just, can you see that? Is that clear? Yeah, okay. So this part here, this is tarkib. This is tarkib, what we did here at the top here. Okay. Where we just label these words according to its grammatical definition and construct the sentence, meaning we're breaking up the components and mentioning what is the sentence made up of. And when we do i'rab, we actually go into the grammatical states of the word. Alhamdulillah. يهديكم الله ويصلح. Alhamdulillah. يهدي اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد. So let me repeat that once more. Tarkib is okay. I don't like these updates because they mess up all the settings. You become used to your controls, and all of a sudden you can't view your controls anymore. Okay. G. Let's try. Can you see my arrow? Can you see the arrow? Or you can't. Can you see the arrow? No, no. Okay. I'm just trying to bring the arrow up, but it's not. Okay. Okay, let's carry on anyway. If you look on the left-hand side, and it shows تركيب هذا مبتدأ رجل is the khabar, and when it becomes جملة اسمية, that's تركيب, where we're breaking each word down in terms of what component is it. Because in Arabic, you only have جملة اسمية or جملة فعلية. If it's جملة اسمية, مبتدأ خبر. And if it's جملة فعلية, you're going to have فعل فاعل, and if need be, you'll have a مفعول. That's just generally the basic تركيب. So that's what tarkib is. I'rab is where you're going into the grammatical state of the word, the moods, and then how is that word, which is experiencing a specific state, how is he expressed? That's i'rab. So for example, hada is ismul ishara. It's mabni ala sukun because we're saying hada. So can you see? We're talking about the Arabic diacritic, a sukun. And then it's in the state of raf because it's mubtada'un. Because noun at the beginning of a sentence is mubtada. So we're explaining the state, fi mahalli raf. Whereas in tarkib, we don't mention the state. We just say mubtada'un. Because we just need to know what component is it. And if you look at rajulun, again, we're saying it's khabar. It's marfu'un. It's in the state of raf. Okay? Why did we say fi mahalli raf for hada, and in rajulun we said marfu'un? Because when we say mabni words, we don't say marfu, we say fi mahalli. When we're describing the state of mabni words, we say fi mahalli. So if a mabni word is in the state of nasb, we'll say fi mahalli nasb. And if it's in the state of jar, we'll say fi mahalli jar. And if it's in the state of raf, we'll say fi mahalli raf. But when it's mu'rab words, we don't use the word fi mahalli. We just say marfu'un, mansubun, and majrurun. Is that clear? So we can see here, rajulun is khabar, it's in the state of raf, marfu'un, but it's marfu with a dhamma. So we're going to say rajulun. So Arab is more got to do with Arabic diacritics. And alhamdulillah, we are currently doing a course on Arabic diacritics, very extensive. And inshallah, that course, when you complete that course, you will have a very good understanding of what Arab is and how the whole mechanism of Arab works. And I strongly believe once you finish that course, you'll have the confidence to look at Arabic texts and decide for yourself to know what the Arabic diacritics are going to be. And yes, you'll get challenging sentences. They are going to come your way, but that's part and parcel of learning. But you'll have the framework in place. Okay? Do you understand the difference between Tarkib and I'rab? Is that understood? Clear. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So we've mentioned about هذا رجل. We mentioned about هذا الرجل. The difference in terms of meaning is هذا رجل means this is a man. هذا الرجل means this man. Okay. Now, in terms of tarkib as well, we've done هذا رجل is مبتدا خبر. هذا الرجل is مبدل من and badal. And together it becomes you could say a phrase, not a sentence. Okay. The thing I was going to mention afterwards was that sometimes we see sentences, okay, they are, okay, extended. So I'm going to put another sentence here, okay. Let's use the same sentence. We'll open it up a bit. So now we got هذا الرجل الطويل لاعب. Okay, or let's just say طالب. Okay. What does this sentence mean? هذا الرجل الطويل طالب. What does this sentence mean? This tall man is a student. Good. What the tarkibi of this phrase? So let's get the translation down. This tall man is a student. Okay, so we've got the translation down. Let's get it in red, inshallah. So this tall man is a student. Let's just put it next to it there. Okay, this tall man is a student. What's the tarkib of this sentence? Tarkib would be هذا equals مبدل من مبدل not مبدل. الرجل, what's الرجل in تركيب here? الرجل will be منعوت, tall man. That will leave the word الطويل to become not. Then the phrase, then the مركب توصيفي, the phrase الرجل الطالب, sorry, الرجل الطويل, this phrase is going to equal badal. Then the mubdal min and badal, which is obviously هذا الرجل الطويل, this is going to form the mubtada'un, and that leaves the last word talibun equals khabar. That's a bit of a long one, but I want you to open up your understanding. When you see sentences, okay, so let's try to get that somewhere here. There. Okay. So we said this tall man, and the khabar is at the end, which is a student. Okay. So the mubtada is actually formed from the word hada all the way to at-tawil. This tall man, and then talibun is the what? Khabar. This tall man is a student. Tarkib wise, hada will be mubdalun min, because we're not making mubtada yet, because there's word, the next word has al, And we can't make الرجل the badal straight away. So because there's a sifat of and there's a nat of الرجل. So let's make الرجل الطويل as a phrase. So الرجل is منعوت. الطويل is what? Nat. Then the tall man, this phrase becomes the badal of هذا. And then that leaves us with مبدل من هذا and الرجل الطويل, which is the badal. That becomes now the mubtada'un and talibun will become the khabar. Is that understood? Is that understood? Okay, I'm going to put one last one and then inshallah, I'm just trying to broaden your understanding. When you see sentences, especially with Ismul Ishara, you should be able to see that difference. I'm just mixing it up here a bit. Okay, what does this sentence mean now? هذا الرجل طالب طويل. What does this sentence mean? هذا الرجل طالب طويل. This man is a tall student. So this man is a tall student. Good. Good translation. Okay. This man is a tall student. Tarkib wise, what are we going to say? Hada is. Tarkib wise, what are we going to say? Hada is mubdalun min. That leaves us with a rajul, which is going to equal to be the badal, because reference is the same. And those two together, meaning هذا الرجل, the phrase مركب إشاري هذا الرجل, this is going to form to be the مبتدأ. And then that leaves طالب. We can't make a khabar straight away, so we're going to say it's man'ud because there's a nat after it. And طويل is the nat. And then the phrase طالب طويل will group together to now become the khabar. Okay, so let's try to get that there. Okay, there. Okay, so هذا is مبدل من, الرجل is the badal, and then هذا الرجل will form together to become مبتدأ, and طالب will be منعوت, طويل is the nat, and the منعوت nat, meaning طالب طويل, will become the khabar. And you can see that how this works out in the translation as well. Okay, have you got a good understanding now? I'm just going to finish it off with one more. Okay, and then we can go back onto the lesson. Just give me this last one. Let's go for a long one. Okay. What would this translate? هذا الرجل الطويل العالم. هذا الرجل الطويل العالم. This tall, knowledgeable man. Very good. So this tall, knowledgeable man. Okay. This tall, knowledgeable man. تركيب I will just say it. Okay. هذا is مبتدأ. But before you make مبتدأ, actually it's مبدل من. الرجل is منعوت. الطويل is not أول, first not. العالم is not ثاني, second not of the word الرجل. Now منعوت الرجل with these two nots, الطويل and العالم, will form now to become the بدل of هذا. So I say that once more. هذا is مبدل من. الرجل منعوت. الطويل not أول. العالم not الثاني. And then منعوت الرجل with these two nots becomes بدل of هذا. And then مبدل من and بدل will just become a phrase. مركب إشاري. It don't even become a complete sentence. So you can see words with L after it, and it will not become a complete sentence. Okay, is that understood? Is that understood? Clear. Okay, so this is what this lesson is about. Instead of just giving you one example, هذا رجل and هذا الرجل, I thought I'll extend it and also give you the different scenarios, and also we've done the tarkib of those as well. Okay, so now let's move on to the sentence. هذا الرجل تاجي رن رن أورين رن. Okay, why is it تاجر? خبر. Good. Okay, so the تركيب of هذا الرجل. Okay, تركيب of هذا الرجل تاجر. I'll annotate this one on this side. Okay, we won't do all the tarkibs, we'll do the ones where we need to. So okay, so we got هذا الرجل. Sorry, هذا equals مبدل من, and الرجل equals بدل, and those two together هذا الرجل equals مبتدأ, and that leaves us with the word تاجر, which equals خبر. Okay, let's just bring that there. It's a bit more neat. هذا مبدل من, الرجل is بدل, and then the phrase هذا الرجل will equal to be مبتدأ, and تاجر will become the خبر. What does هذا الرجل تاجر mean? هذا الرجل تاجر. This man is a merchant. Okay, good. Understand the tarkib of that? Yes. Next one we have is وذلك الرجل لا أولي. وذلك الرجل لا أولي. رجل. Why are you saying رجل? Why? Why are you saying رجل? I knew you was going to say مبتدأ, but that's wrong. وذلك الرجل. You're saying الرجل is مبتدا, that's why it's مرفوع. ذلك is مبتدا. Why is الرجل مرفوع with a ضمة? Why is الرجل مرفوع with a ضمة? Remember what we said? Not or ذلك. Not or, no, it's not not. Not of ذلك, no. It's not manut not. You can't, I've already explained, you can't make this word. Yes, it's badal. It's badal. الرجل is badal of ذلك. And badal follows مبدل من in إعراب. ذلك is not expressed in its إعراب, but it's in the state of raf because it's مبتدا. That does not mean he can't experience the state. He can, but it's not expressed. ذلك. And if you remember the Zaid story in the Arab course, it's equated to the beefeater. There are individuals who experience moods, but they don't express. Okay? So ذلك is one of those. They experience, but they don't express. So ذلك is still experiencing the state of raf because of mubtada, and الرجل is the badal. It's not mubtada, it's the badal of ذلك. And badal follows the mubdalun min in i'rab. Okay. Next one we have is tabiban bun or bin. وذلك الرجل طبيب. Okay, why is it طبيب? Khabar, very good. And that man is, طبيب means a doctor. Okay. So I think the translation is pretty straightforward. Let's move on. Okay. Next one we have is اسم التاجر. اسم التاجر رو ري. So are we going to say اسم التاجري? Why are we going to say اسم التاجري? Actually, the harakat's already on there. مضاف إليه. محمودا دون أودين. محمودا دون أودين. Because dun. Okay, why are we reading محمود خبر? Very good. Okay, what does اسم التاجر محمود mean? اسم التاجر محمود. اسم التاجر محمود. The name of the merchant is Mahmud. Good. And واسم الطبيب بأبي. And سعيدا دون أودين. Just tell me the ending. So طبيب بأبي or سعيدا دون أودين. B. واسم الطبيب because مضاف إليه. And what's the translation of واسم الطبيب سعيد? You said it's done. Okay, it's الطبيب because مضاف إليه, and سعيد because it's the خبر of اسم الطبيب. And the translation of واسم الطبيب سعيد is, and the name of the doctor is Sa'id. Now we're going to see a little bit of a difference in terms of tarkib in the next one. Okay, but let's go ahead with reading it first. هذا البيت للتاجر. Okay, وذلك البيت للطبيب. The harakats are already there, so I can't really assess you much on the harakats. Okay, but I will ask you, why is it البيت? هذا البيت. Why is it البيت? Why do we see a dhamma in the word البيت? What's the reason of البيت having a dhamma? جي. هذا البيت للتاجر. Badal of هذا, which is in the state of Rab because it's mubtada. Very good, mashallah. So this house للتاجر is the merchants. Or you could say this house belongs to the merchant. The li gives the meaning of belonging. Okay. So هذا البيت للتاجر, simple translation would be this house, okay, is the merchant's. When you say is, it shows belonging anyway. Or you can translate with the word belonging as well. This house belongs to the merchant. Okay. Now we'll do tarkib on this, okay, because it's a bit different to the previous sentences. So let's see if you can help me out here. What's هذا here? What does هذا equal? We should know from هذا البيت, that much we should know. Yes, it's Ismul Ishara, but we're not doing the Arab side of things. We're not saying Ismul Ishara, Mabniyun ala Sukun, etc. We're doing Tarkib. So we have to label it in terms of Tarkib. Okay. So what's هذا? Because we're going to make the component of the sentence. It's Mubdalun min. Good. That leaves us with the word al-bayt. What's al-bayt? Badal, good. And then the phrase هذا البيت. هذا البيت. That becomes mubtada'un, good. And then that leaves us with litajiri. What's the lam? What does lam equal? Litajiri. What's the lam? Litajiri. In terms of labeling it, tarkiban, according to tarkib. Jar, okay, you could say lam equals jar with a tashdid on the ra, okay, or harful jar, okay, and at-tajri equals, what does at-tajri equal? At-tajri, if lam is jar, what is majroor? Good, majroor. And jar majroor is always connected to something. It's always connected. So lit-tajri, lit-tajri, this preposition phrase is going to become muta'alliqan because it's jar and majroor. What's it connected to? What is the jar majroor connected to? Because prepositional phrases are connected to a muta'allaq, which generally is a verb or letters that contain a verb, like ismul fa'il, ismul maf'ul, ismul tafdhil, masdar sometimes as well. And if we can't see anything we can connect it to and make a ta'alluq for it, a connection, then we will have to assume something. So do we have to assume something here, or can we connect it to something? What does the prepositional phrase litajri become connected to? What do you think? Any idea, or you're not sure? Okay, هذا. So if you connect litajri to هذا, and that becomes part of the mubtada, what will become the khabar then? If you're saying litajri connects to هذا, and then هذا البيت للتاجر, all that forms a mubtada, what is going to become the khabar? So can we make it متعلق to هذا? Can we? Or do we have to assume something? Do we have to say it's متعلق to something hidden, محذوف? كائن, yes. متعلق to كائن. And that كائن equals خبر. Okay? Is understood? Okay, so I think that should sit down well there. So هذا equals مبدل من البيت is the badal. Then the phrase هذا البيت will become مبتدأ. لي is jar. التاجر is مجرور. Then the prepositional phrase للتاجر will become connected to كائن, which forms to become the khabar. Yes? And then from there you can make the sentence مبتدأ and khabar becomes جملة اسمية خبرية. Is understood? Okay. The next part is exactly the same in terms of tarkib. وَذَلِكَ الْبَيْتُ لِلطَّبِيبِ. What's the translation of وَذَلِكَ الْبَيْتُ لِلطَّبِيبِ? وَذَلِكَ الْبَيْتُ لِلطَّبِيبِ. And that house belongs to the doctor. Good. Tarkib wise, that is exactly the same as هذا البيت للتاجر. هذا البيت للتاجر. How? Waw will say is حرف عطف. So the previous sentence هذا البيت للتاجر will become معطوف عليه. Waw will be عاطفة, or you can say حرف عطف. Okay. ذلك will be مبدل من. البيت will be the بدل. The مبدل من and بدل ذلك البيت will form to be مبتدأ. ذلك البيت, that is. And للطبيب, li is jar, الطبيب is مجرور. And then the prepositional phrase jar مجرور للطبيب will connect to that which is assumed, which is كائن. Because the word bait, ذلك, because it's masculine, so the khabar has to coincide. There has to be مطابقة. Okay, conformity of between the mubtada and khabar in terms of gender generally. So that's why we'll say كائن. So كائن للطبيب will form to become the khabar of ذلك البيت. Is that clear? Is that clear? Yeah. Okay. Now I'm gonna tease your brains a bit here. I'm gonna get that same sentence, but I'm just gonna tweak one thing. Okay. We've got this sentence here now. What does this sentence translate as? هذا بيت لتاجر. هذا بيت لتاجر. هذا بيت لتاجر. What does that translate as? This is a house belonging to the merchant. This is a house belonging to, oops, all that time for the English keyboard. This is a house belonging to a merchant. Or the merchant if it was للتاجر. Whichever way. But this example we just made it nakara. Okay. This is a house belonging to a merchant. Good. Translation's fine. I've got no problem with that. How about the tarkib of هذا بيت لتاجر? هذا will be what? هذا بيت لتاجر. What هذا be? Can you make it مبدل من? Because the word al-bayt has no al. So what, we can't jump into مبدل من and badal, can we? This is why I'm bringing these different scenarios to improve your understanding that it's not always mubdal min and badal. Just because we've been doing examples of mubdal min and badal, you have to see if the next word has al, then it becomes mubdal min and badal. Mubtada'un. Okay, so you're going for hada is mubtada'un, which is right. That leaves us with the word baytun. What's baytun? What does baytun become? I think I know what you're going to say. You're going to say khabar. Am I right? Or you're going to say something else? What's baytun? Gee, khabar, yes. Okay. But before we say khabar, what's the litajir going to become? We're stuck. هذا بيت لتاجر. If you make baytun khabar, what does litajir jar majrur become connected to? What does the jar majrur litajir become connected to? G? Any idea, or you're not sure? Okay, that's why I gave this example. Baytun is actually what? Man'ut. Baytun equals man'ut. And that leaves us with litajirin. I'm just going to put it as a prepositional phrase so we know it's jar majrur. Litajirin equals muta'alliqan. Muta'alliqan connected to ka'inun. Ka'inun. And that equals the nat for baytun. And then man'ut al-nat, which is baytun. Man'ut al-nat, which is, let's just put it as a phrase. Baytun li tajirin. That becomes the khabar. Okay, so let's just get that here. Okay. So here we go. This is a house. هذا بيت. That would be مبتدا and khabar, straightforward. But we got لتاجر belonging to the tajir. So that would become lam li is jar, tajir is majroor, and then the prepositional phrase will become connected to ka'inun, which forms the nat of bayt. And then the man'ut nat baytun li tajirin will now become the khabar. Because remember, there's this little trick in tarkib, it'll help you a lot. If you see a word which is nakiratun, so baytun is nakira, and you see a prepositional phrase after it, tarkib wise, it's man'ut and nat. It's man'ut and nat. Okay, man'ut and nat. So هذا بيت لتاجر. هذا مبتدا بيت لتاجر منعوتا نات. Is that clear? Is that understood? Yeah. Okay. I hope that I've opened up your understanding of the different dynamics of the Ismul Ishara, where we have the simple one, هذا رجل, this is a man, and هذا الرجل, this man. The simple difference between those two. هذا رجل is a complete sentence, مبتدا خبر. هذا الرجل is مبدل من بدل, just a phrase. Does not become a complete sentence. Then we extended this sentence. We gave a few examples. هذا الرجل الطويل طالب. This tall man, طالب, is a student. Now here the mubtada is compounded with mubdal min but the badal is compounded with man'ut al-nat, ar-rajul al-tawil. And then all of it becomes a phrase which becomes mubtada'un, and talibun is the khabar. Okay? And we opened it even further as well after that as well by using more examples after that as well. Okay? هذا الرجل الطويل العالم. Okay, and then we gave examples of the ones in the text as well. هذا البيت للتاجر. There, the prepositional phrase became connected to that which is hidden, which is كائن. Okay, and then finally, I just tweaked it up a bit to show that if we did not have al and it's nakara and there's a prepositional phrase after it, it'll be man'ut al-nat. I hope you've learned a lot in this lesson. I know we covered only a couple of lines, but I do believe at the beginning of the lesson, if we can get a good grip and understanding of the different aspects and usage of the Ismul Ishara, it becomes easy later on to do the tarkib and work out the vowel markings as well. Okay, in terms of if it's mubtada, khabar, etc. Okay. Any questions before we log off? If there are any questions later on as well, you can use the Telegram support group. Inshallah, do use that. And inshallah, I will try my best to answer your questions to the best of my ability. Okay? So, no questions, inshallah. So, we'll continue from here, inshallah, next.